Sometimes when I go out on a fishing trip, I'm just trying to get out and enjoy some time on the water. It's not always about catching big fish or even about catching numbers for me. Sometimes it's just about being out and relaxing after a hard day of work. Sometimes though, I am out. I want to catch a bunch of fish. I want to catch a big fish. Sometimes I take a little road trip and try to catch the biggest fish of my life.
Yeah. He's out 130 feet. Oh my gosh.
But that's not the trip we're talking about today. I recently took the drive up to Klamath Falls to take another crack at some really big rainbow trout. And these rainbow trout are red bands, a subspecies of rainbows, and they can get big. This spot is a really cool spot. There's fish everywhere, but there's no guarantee that you're even going to get a bite. You can go quite some time casting and retrieving and not even get touched, all the while seeing big fish in the water. But that's what makes this place special. When you do get a hook up, there's a really good chance you're going to catch the biggest rainbow trout of your life. But that's not actually where my trip starts. My trip started at Lake Siskiyou in Northern California. Stopped on my way up to Klamath Falls to fish for some smallies. And here's kind of how it went.
There we go. There we go. Little guy. Beautiful fish. Okay, there's a decent one. Oh yeah. He's not even that big, but man, these fish just love to fight. Ooh. I was trolling to a different spot and figured I'd fish for some trout. And I caught one. Pretty fish.
I fished that morning and I caught a few other fish. Most of them were small, like this little guy. But that's not what this story's about. The story's about those elusive, big, red band trout. So let's get on with that.
A little bit here, but this is the last one.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Hey, there's a good spot right off the bow of this boat, about 15, 20 feet out.
Okay.
Fish rise there all the time.
Okay. I'll work it.
This is Condo here.
What's that?
This is Condo.
Condo is a good swimmer.
He is a good dog.
It looks like he follows directions pretty well too. I saw you.
Working on him.
Yeah.
So I think you can probably get the picture of how this was gonna go. I fished from about 4:35 p.m. that evening until well into dark and didn't even get a bite. Lots of fish were rising around me. There was a lot of activity. Just couldn't get a fish to go after what I was offering. But like I mentioned before, I kind of knew that getting into it. So I finished up the rest of the evening and got ready for the following morning. The following morning I was a little bit late to the ramp. My buddies Dean and Mason were already out on the water. Dean had already caught 3 fish in a matter of about 20 to 30 minutes. I was pretty stoked to fish with these guys and spent a couple minutes in the morning just catching up with Mason.
Good morning. How's it going? Pretty good. How about you? When did you get back? Friday. Nice. That's cool.
Some time went by and I was making tons of casts. I was seeing a bunch of fish and I wasn't catching any. I wasn't getting any bites, and I was starting to think that this morning session was going to be a flop. And then,
whoa, yeah. Oh, come here, come here, come here. Shit. Yeah. Woo. Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful fish, dude. Whoa. Whoa, oh. Huh? 5 pounds. It's a gorgeous fish. He's a live one. I don't think I've caught one this pretty before, dude.
Really?
No. With all the spots and stuff and color. Come here, buddy. Man, look at the spots on that guy, dude. That's a good fish. Okay.
Hold on, turn around one more.
Thank you, dude. He's off, man. Ready to rock.
we fished a little bit longer that morning. No bites, no other fish. So we headed back to the ramp, loaded things up, and headed out to go get some brunch.
How much longer are you around for?
I took a little quick trip to Crater Lake, but that's a different trip and story all of its own, and I will post a video on that in a day or two. So, subscribe if you haven't already. That night I was back out on the lake, seeing a ton of fish again. Not having a lot of luck, making a ton of casts. The next morning I was up early trying to take another crack at catching one of those big trout. This was my last couple hours of fishing before I had to head back south, so I wanted to take advantage of it.
There we go. It's a little guy. Okay. Beautiful fish. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. All right. That'll work. That guy was 22 inches. Nothing graceful about my handling of that fish in the release, but we're in them. Let's go.
I fished the rest of that morning and I got a couple love taps, but no hookups. But in reality, I felt pretty grateful for the 2 fish that I did catch on this trip. And to some, that might seem just crazy to drive all that distance, to spend all that time on the water for only 2 fish. But man, when the fish are as big and beautiful as these ones are, to me, it's totally worth it.